Live. Test, test, test. Quick sound check. Just doing a sound check. Test, test, test. We got the left end good. We got down in front of the boards here in front of us good. To the right, we're good. Check, check, check. Hopefully we're all good. And you'll hear from me just before the start of the game. Sound check. Just to make sure my mic is connected well. Sound check. 1, 2, 3. Test. Test. Hopefully all things are good. We've got a good view up here. Right at the center ice red line. Zamboni coming out. Alright, I think we're good. And you'll hear from me when the game is about to begin. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to High Button Sports. We are here at the Grant Hervey Center for Game 2 of the New Brunswick Final. Rocket won Game 1 of the series yesterday at the Avenir Center in Moncton, 3-2. Rockets had taken fairly early lead, and we have a goal right away here. 27 seconds in. And the Moncton Rockets are on the board. I barely got to say much. And the Rockets have scored. So 27 seconds into Game 2 here. Rockets are up 1-0. I'll have to wait for the goal announcement because I didn't catch exactly who that was. So I'll let you know who the goal was as soon as we hear that. So yesterday at the Avenir Center in Moncton, Rockets have been up 2-0, outshooting the Flames significantly, but later in the game, the Flames found some gusto and made it close, pressured late in the game, but Moncton came out on top, 3-2. And so here we are, back for Game 2. And the Rockets with an early 1-0 lead, 27 seconds into the game. Still waiting for the goal details. Your starting goalies today. Oh.
Number 81, assisted by number 20, Annabelle Danielle. Number 9, Zoe.
Okay, so the goal announcement just came out, and it was McFadden from Daniel and Alain. So that's McFadden from Daniel and Alain, 27 seconds into the game. And your starting goalies today. So yesterday was, today here we have Rylan Arbo in for the Flames. And it looks like Claire Fournette down at the other end for the Moncton Rockets. Puck in the neutral zone. It's tossed into the Flames' end. That's going to be picked up by Roger. She's broken up. Puck's down below the goal line. Here's Nelson. Nelson sends it up the left-hand side. That's picked off. Centering pass attempt. Back into the neutral zone. Here's Arsenault. Arsenault goes cross ice. Dumped into the Flames' end. Gauvin spins, tries to fire it up the left-hand side. Doesn't get very far. Nelson now gets it out. Nelson through the neutral zone. She's by herself. Couple of the Flames going for a change. Nelson tries firing it towards the net. That's broken up by Daniel. Puck in the neutral zone. Waterhouse sends it up the right-hand side. Nelson now fires it in. She heads to the bench for a change. Picked up by Poirier. Poirier's going to carry it down low. She tries cutting to the net. Backhand. Arbo hang on to that one. Now we'll have a face-off in the Flames' end. 17:03 of the first period. Shots on goal are showing 4-0 in favor of the Rockets. It'll be Folks in to take the face-off for the Flames. And McFadden for the Rockets. Face-off one. Back to Fitzpatrick. Dumped into the corner. Daigle sends up the left-hand side. That one's going to be held in again. Here's Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick softly throws it in the middle. That's broken up. Fitzpatrick sits down Cook, and she's going to go to the box for that. So we're going to have a Flames power play at the 16:46 mark here in the second period. On the body contact on Cook. So Fitzpatrick a little bit liberal there on Cook, and she's headed to the box. Shot by Feltmate. Hit shin pads. That one's going all the way down. Feltmate blows a wheel. Arbo out to play it. Leaves it for Daigle. Daigle built some speed to the neutral zone. Daigle still with it. She gains the blue line by herself. Daigle still with it. Daigle backhands it towards the net. Shoveled off to the corner. Held in the blue line by Feltmate. She grabbed it out of the air. Off the clearing attempt by Cormier. Cormier again in the back of the goal line. Tries sending it up the other side. This time held in by Daigle again. Cross ice to Feltmate. Feltmate dishes off to Dooland. Dooland cuts to the middle. Gives it to Daigle. Daigle. Clapper. That's eaten up by Richard. Richard heads to the bench. And the Flames will regroup. We are now halfway through this power play for the Flames. Puck turned over to the corner. Ward's going to try and eat a little bit of clock here. Feltmate. Hustled by Ward. Ward knocks it free. Ward, she's eaten 15 seconds off that Flames power play just by herself here. Here's Dooland. Gains the blue line by herself. Puts the brakes on. Held in by Lawrence. Back on the stick of Dooland. Dooland. Down below the goal line. Dooland still looking. Dishes it off to Waterhouse. Waterhouse. Cross ice to Boursier. Boursier. Down along the wall to Lawrence. Lawrence walks in, takes a shot. She misses high. 17 seconds now left on the Flames power play. And it'll be Boutlier coming out by herself. 5 seconds left in the Flames power play. 14:50 of the first. 1-0 for the Rockets. And we are back to even strength. Boursier, below the Flames goal line, sends up to the left-hand side, chips past everybody, arms up for icing, and that will go for icing and come back to the Flames' end. So, Flames unable to generate a shot on that power play, and the shots on goal are still showing 4-0 in favor of Moncton. And while the face-off back to the left of our bow, it'll be Nelson for the Flames and Colpitz for the Rockets. Puck down along the wall in the Flames' end. Battle for it here. Comes out to Plude. Shot through traffic. Arbo will hang on to that. And we're at 14-17 of the first period. Shots on goal, 5-0 in favor of the Rockets. So we'll have this face-off again to the left of our bow. It'll be Johnstone and Ward. Nope, sorry, Johnstone and McFadden. McFadden wins it. Back to our center point. She goes cross ice, sent towards the net. Wraparound attempt. Our bow's there. But in the crease. Rebound is picked up. I believe it was Cormier standing right in front of the net after the wraparound attempt tapped it in. And similar to yesterday, Flames find themselves down 2-0 in the first period. Johnstone, she throws it down below the goal line. That's going to be recovered by Poirier. Poirier sends it up her left-hand side. Here comes Colpitz. Colpitz, that shot's broken up by Daigle. Thrown back out front. Sent back to the corner. Now Plude with it. And sorry to Lily That is a last name that I struggle with. I can't roll in our Plord. I'm not exactly sure. Scramble in front. Colpit's there. Our bow will hang on to that one, and we are at 13:07 of the first period. Shots on goal, 8-1 in favor of the Moncton Rockets. We'll have a face-off to the right of our bow. It will be Ward against Folks. Captain Folks. Nope, won by Lauren Ward. Back to Cormier. Cormier throws it through everybody. He's going to be picked up. Sent up the left-hand side to Folks. Doesn't get out of the zone. Here's Polchis. Polchis gets it to the blue line. That one goes out of play, and that's going to be a neutral zone face-off. So it'll be Ward against Lawrence here on this draw in the neutral zone. Lawrence wins it, but it's Roger stepped through and pulled that back. Here's Kimball. She sends out the right-hand side to Lawrence. Lawrence in the neutral zone. She's picked off by Richard. Richard, Cormier, Lawrence battling along the wall here. Richard comes out with it. She dishes it back. Back up the other side. Nelson picks it up below the Flames goal line. Dooland. Dishes it off for Gauvin. Gauvin up to Lawrence. Lawrence tries chipping it over the blue line. Cormier gets to that one first. Now Roger. Roger tries chipping it ahead in the neutral zone, but she didn't quite hit the target. The Flames recover. Now deep into the Rocket zone. Johnstone's putting pressure while the rest of the Flames change. Here's Eason. Skips past her. Sommers tried a little dipsy-doodle. Didn't pull past. Johnstone now gets it. Just into the Rocket zone. Arsenault goes behind the net. Now McFadden. McFadden up the middle. Puts the brakes on. Sends it up her right-hand side. This is the target there. It's going to be left for our bow to cover up. And we are at 11:20 of the first period. Moncton up 2-0 here. Shots on goal are 8-1 in favor of Moncton. Puck chipped out to the blue line. That one's held in. Just barely, but it was a good call by the linesperson. Fitzpatrick is back. She looks to her right-hand side. Dishes it off. Here comes Poirier. Poirier tries making it through everybody. She handed it off to Daniel. Couldn't get the shot through traffic. Here's Poirier again. Hands it off. Now it's back to Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick at the blue line. Back along the wall. Dish down below the goal line for Daniel. Daniel circles. Daniel looking for Fitzpatrick. Didn't make it through. This one's going to be set down the ice, but has to be played by Fournette, so no icing. Cook puts pressure on Poirier. Poirier still has it. Parks behind the net, sends it up her left-hand side. Up through the middle, here comes Colpitts. Colpitts tries centering it. Pass didn't connect. Going to be held on the blue line here by Bourgeois. Bourgeois comes cross ice to Cormier. Cormier shot. And our bow will hang on to that one. And we are halfway through the first period with the Flames trailing 2-0. Face off to the right of our bow. Face off won by the Rockets. Picked off here by Nelson. Nelson dishes it off to Dooland. Dooland looking for some space. Takes a sharp angle shot. Knock off to the corner. Dooland crashes into the boards behind the net. She's fine. She seems to have gotten up to get back into play. Back up the left side to Doolin. That's broken up by Boutelier. In the Flames end. Chip out attempt by Nelson. Didn't get out of the zone. This one's going to be sent down again. Arm up for icing, and that one's going to come back. And the Flames can't change on that one. So we'll have a face-off. Back to the left of our bow. Tired line has to take it. Nelson. It's won by Richard. Gets its way to the neutral zone. Arsenault goes cross ice. This one's picked off by Dooland. Dooland's walking in. Sharp angle again. Hits the post this time. Followed up by Feltmate. Gets the shot on goal. Shots on goal now 9-4 in favor of the Rockets. Pressure here by Johnstone. Comes up through the neutral zone. Picked up by Ward. Ward gets it into the zone. Daigle now has it. She chips it into the back to the neutral zone. That's going to be recovered by Poirier, who sent it cross ice. Johnstone again chips it in over the blue line. Battling against Fitzpatrick. That one made its way out. Feltmate slaps it in. It's going to be picked up by Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick, she sends it up her right-hand side up in the neutral zone. Picked up by Rodier. Now on the stick of McFadden. McFadden dishes it off. Long cross-ice pass. Here's Alain. Alain. Taken down by Waterhouse. That's going to be a call against the Flames. So Waterhouse is going to go for a trip. And now we will have a Rocket power play with 8:12 to go here in the first period. Rockets leading 2-0. Shots on goal showing 9-4 in favor of Moncton. Moncton leading the series after a 3-2 win yesterday at the Avenir Center. Today we're here at the Grant Harvey Center in Fredericton for Game 2. Shot from the point. That's chipped high and wide. Down below the Flames goal line. Dish off to Richard. Richard working along the sidewall. She dishes it off to Daniel at the blue line. Off to the side. Shot. Loose puck in front. Still scramble for it. Cormier sends it along the wall. That's going to be held in by Bourgeois. Bourgeois across to Daniel. Daniel, she's chipped off the puck. Keeps it in though. Polchi's battling with Richard there along the wall. Finally comes out. Daniel with it. Comes out and fires. Hits the post. Daniel looking for the puck again. Slapping the stick. Looking for it. Daniel, cross ice pass, shot. That one just hit the side of the net by Ward. She was cocked up over on the far side. Back to Daniel again at the blue line. Daniel to Bourgeois. Bourgeois has to slow it down a little bit. Bourgeois back to Daniel. Daniel to Bourgeois. Bourgeois looks to Ward. Ward tries to shot attempt, hits shin pads, and that was going to be sent down. 20 seconds left in the Rocket power play. Fournette leaves it behind the puck. Leaves it behind the goal line for Poirier. Now Boutelier. Boutelier dishes it off in the neutral zone to McFadden. McFadden gains his zone herself, dishes it off. Back to McFadden. McFadden below the goal line for Alain. Back to McFadden. Chips past her. Held in by Boutelier. Boutelier walks in. Boutelier takes a shot attempt. That hits Daigle. Now Lawrence trying to get it out. Back to even strength. Dooland, she's knocked free. Couldn't get past everybody though. Puck into the flame zone. Gauvin battling for it. Poirier. She's circling. Sends it back to Fitzpatrick. Puck ends up in the corner. Fitzpatrick trying to hold the blue line. She does. Roger helps her. Keeps it in. Fitzpatrick again. Sends it over to the right-hand side. It's going to be picked up by Roger. Nope. Comes out into the neutral zone. That one's stopped by Fitzpatrick. Johnstone, she's going to chip it into the neutral zone. Makes its way into the Rocket end. Bourgeois recovers it. Bourgeois below the goal line. Under 5 minutes to go here in the first period. Rockets leading 2-0. Leading the series 1-0 after a 3-2 win yesterday at the Avenir Center in Moncton. Puck below the Flames goal line. Johnstone fishes it out. Reversed by Waterhouse. Wraps it around her right-hand side. Makes its way to the neutral zone. Roger goes cross ice to her partner. Back up through the middle for Ward. Here's Ward. Ward dishes it off. Shot attempt. That's tipped. It ends up out of play. 4:14 to go here in the first period. Rockets leading 2-0. Shots on goal showing 11-4 in favor of Moncton. Face off, kind of neutral, tied up. Here's Daigle though. Daigle knocks it free, chips it head forward. Battle between Daigle and Cormier. Daigle gets there first. Held into the blue line. No, that one's chipped past. Right back the other way. Here comes Plug. And now the Flames are going to go for another tripping call. Oh, roughing, rather. So it'll be Daigle for roughing at 3:52 of the first period. So another power play attempt here for Moncton. All right, so it will be Folks against Ward here at the draw. So they're going to hold the clock for 3 seconds to represent what was missed there. Shot by Daniel. That missed high, wide right. Here's Daniel again. Daniel dishes it off. Shot from the point. That one also misses high, wide. Ward in the corner. Sends it back to the blue line. Cross ice to Daniel. Daniel. Another shot attempt. Loose in front. That one is going to be held in by Poirier. Poirier walks into the slot. Takes a shot. Got all the way into the ringette line. Got a shot. Here's Poirier again. Poirier. Dishes it off to the right-hand side. Scramble in front. Didn't see who got the stick on that, but it got all the way down. And there is 1:05 remaining on the Rocket power play. 2:50 remaining here in the first period. Rocket up 2-0. 27 seconds in, getting on the board. Lawrence and Nelson, your penalty killers here now. Here's Boutelier. Got over to that trigger spot. Bourgeois takes a shot, but didn't get quite enough of it. Boutelier. Back to Bourgeois. Bourgeois pressured along the boards by Waterhouse. It's going to come back to Boutelier. Boutelier. She sends it cross ice. Back across to Bourgeois. She's pressured. Lawrence is there, sends it down. And there's 10 seconds left on the Rocket power play. Nelson's down to put pressure on it. 2 minutes even left in the first period. McFadden puts the brakes on. And that'll be the end of the power play. We're back to even strength. Daigle back on after the roughing call. Arsenault. She dishes it off through the neutral zone. Boursier sends it back the other way. Boursier trying to hold it out of the zone. Johnstone there helping to try and dig it out. Boursier comes out with it. Feltmate trying to keep moving it forward, and she does. Feltmate gets it below the goal line. Battle for it down there. Finally, Cormier comes out with it. Sends out the right-hand side. Boursier breaks it up in the neutral zone. Now Johnstone dishes it off. Johnstone to Doolin. Doolin backhands it into the zone. All the Flames gone for a change. Under a minute to go here in the first period. 14-4. The shots on goal in favor of the Rockets. And that one's going to be blown down. 48 seconds to go here in the first period. And we'll have a face-off in the Rockets end. Captain Folks it against Lauren Ward. Ward wins it. Lawrence, right at the red line, shovels it down into the Rocket end. It's going to be recovered by Fitzpatrick. She tries to move it up the left-hand side. It's going to be pinned by Lawrence. Held in by Daigle. Daigle backhands it up in the air. It's gloved down. 20 seconds to go in the period. Ward has it below the goal line. Pressured by Polchis and Lawrence. Lawrence walks out front. She was looking for a centering pass there to Daigle, but didn't find her. And that's going to do it for the first period. And we are 2-0 in favor of Moncton after the first period. Shots on goal were 14-5 in favor of the Rockets. And I will join you for the start of this second period. All right, everybody, welcome back for the second period here in Game 2 of the New Brunswick final. Moncton Rocket leading the series 1-0 and leading today's game here 2-0 after the first period. Shots on goal are 14-5 in favor of Moncton after the first. Puck in the Flame zone. Reversed by Waterhouse to Boursier. Boursier. She's knocked off the puck by Daniel. Down below the goal line is Alain. Gets back to the point. Cross ice to Boulier. Boulier. She misses low to the right. Back to Boulier again. Boulier throws it towards them again. Blocked by Dooland. Makes his way to the corner. Cross ice pass. Broken up by Dooland. It's going to go to the length of the ice. Boulier dishes it off to her partner. Arsenault sends it up the left-hand side. That's going to go below the Flames goal line for icing. And 18:58 here in the second period. We'll have a face-off down in the Rocket end to the left of Fournette. McFadden will face off against Captain Folks for the Flames. McFadden wins that one clean, wraps it around to her right-hand side, makes his way past everybody, going all the length of the ice. And that one will come back, and we'll do it again. McFadden wins that one again. Picked up by Arsenault, wraps it around the wall. Makes its way past everybody. Is that... No, not offside. Cut inside was Daniel. And it's a goal for the Rockets. A long stretch pass. Makes his way out to Daniel. Daniel stuck behind everybody. Picks that up. Stays on side. And tucks it past Arbeau. And we are 3-0 for the Rockets at 18:32 here of the second period. Shots on goal are 15-5 in favor of Moncton. Cross ice pass to Poirier. Poirier dishes it back off. Sent in by Fitzpatrick. Down below the goal line. Long shot. Loose puck in front. Shoveled out by Smith. Now Gauvin. Gauvin gets it out of the zone. She's tangled up by Colpitz. Gauvin again, knocks it free. That was going to be picked up by Poirier. Poirier gains the blue line by herself. Puts the brakes on. Poirier dishes it off. Sent into the neutral zone. Puck coming up the ice. That is signaled icing. So we have an icing, but we also have a roughing call in front of the Rocket bench. I didn't catch the roughing call, and it will be Cormier headed to the box at 17:21 here in the second period. And the Flames are on the power play, trailing 3-0. No, it's not Cormier. Cormier comes back to the bench. It's Poirier. So we'll exchange Poirier for Cormier. on the roughing call. And we'll have a face-off to the right of Fournette. Face-off, won by Richard. Makes his way into the neutral zone. Here's Waterhouse. Waterhouse. Try sending it across to Borsier. That's picked off. And the Rockets burn some time in the Flame zone there. Off the pickoff attempt. Shot on Fournette. It's a long one, but she'll hang on to that and take the face-off. 25 seconds gone in the Flames power play. And we'll have an exchange here for the Flames power play. 17-16, the shots on goal in favor of the Rockets. That one's won by the Rockets. Cormier wraps it around, sends it the whole length. Arbo out to play it. Daigle will pick it up below the goal line. Steps out. Daigle sends it up the right-hand side for Feltmate. Feltmate was just out of her reach. And now the puck's free in the neutral zone. Polchi's a bit of backhand on it. Recovered by Feltmate, who fires it down. Played by Fournette. Wrapped around the wall. Held by Daigle. Back along the wall. Here's Daigle. Daigle hits a shin pad. Pops out. Race for it against McFadden. McFadden at a sharp angle. Scores! Shorty by McFadden. A minute 10 into the Flames power play. And it is now 4-0 for Moncton. Yeomans comes over the wall in favor of Arbo. And Coach Grace has taken her time out. So we're at 16-10 here in the second period. Flames in a pretty big hole here, 4-0. Being outshot 18-6. Giving up the shorty. 49 seconds left on the Flames power play. And Coach Graham trying to rally the troops here. So it'll be Yeomans in the net in exchange for Arbo, and we will have Dooland Lawrence on the power play. Nelson is over there.
Moncton Rockets goal is 16-10, scored by number 81, Stephen McFadden.
Through the neutral zone for the Flames. Here's Waterhouse. Waterhouse, she's going to gain the blue line, dishes it off for Nelson. That's blown down offside. 30 seconds to go in the Flames power play. 15:51 to go here in the second. Here in game 2 of the New Brunswick provincial final. Puck on the stick of Waterhouse. Waterhouse dishes it off. Here's Doolan. Doolan coming with a little bit of speed. Tries chipping it in. Gains the blue line. Nelson pushes it forward, but that's finally knocked off her stick and sent the length of the ice. 10 seconds remains on the Flames power play. Borsier, long up to Nelson. Nelson to Waterhouse. Waterhouse in the neutral zone, chips it in. Back to even strength. Kimber throws it on net. Pressured by Johnstone. She's knocked off the puck. Into the neutral zone. Gauvin gets a stick on it. Cross ice to Sommers. Sommers. She's knocked off it. Here come the Rockets. Johnstone knocks it free. Up to Sommers. Sommers couldn't quite push it ahead. And that one's blown down offside. I thought Gauvin held it in, but not quite. So we're at 14:43, the second period. Shots on goal are 18-7 in favor of the Moncton Rockets. But more importantly, the Rockets are up 4-0. A shorthanded goal. A goal 27 seconds into the game. And it's been largely the Rockets. Puck in the Flame zone. Knocked out by Folks. Long play by Fournette there. She sends it up into neutral zone. Folks chips it up ahead. Cook's there, putting pressure on Poirier. Poirier backhands it up. In the neutral zone. On the stick of Rogier. Rogier gets it down low. Now Daigle wraps it around. Here's Arsenault. Arsenault goes cross ice. Shot from the point. Misses wide left. In the neutral zone, race for it. Doolan putting pressure on it. Colpitz pushes it back. Colpitz sends it up her left-hand side. Lawrence there to pinch it off. Shot from the wall. This is wide left. Now Cormier, neutral zone. She's going to chip it in. Feltmate's going to be there. Feltmate tries moving it up to Lawrence. Lawrence into the neutral zone. Past everyone. Right back onto the stick of Cormier, who pushes it back into the Flames' end. Now Clara Smith. Clara Smith by herself in the neutral zone. Tries pushing it ahead. Doesn't get very far. Here's McFadden. McFadden dishes it off below the goal line. McFadden crosses the red line. Chips it to herself. She's pressured by Somers. McFadden finally peeled off the puck. Sent into the neutral zone. Recovered by Boutelier. Cross ice pass. Centering pass for Richard is missed. Here's Boutelier. Boutelier. She's going to go behind her own net. Come out the left-hand side. Here's Boutelier. Still with it. She's dealing past a bunch of players here. Boutelier still with it. She's gone end-to-end. Boutelier all the way in. Takes a shot attempt. Doesn't get it on net, though. Boutelier had the puck on her stick for a good 30 seconds there, I think. Battle along the wall. Knocked free by McFadden. Now Cook. Cook chips it into the end. Richard, cross ice. Flames changing. Polchis jumps over the bench. Can't quite reach it. On the left-hand side, here's Polchis. Polchis chips it into the neutral zone. Makes it there, but not much past Bourgeois. Now Cook. Cook. She sends it into the corner. Polchis is going to get it. Spins and fires. Sent back to the corner. Now Cook below the goal line. Cook tries centering it. It's reversed. Deep pinch by Boursier. Keeps it in. Folks pinned along the wall. Folks battling for it. Finally knocked free. Battle for it with Ward. Ward sends it around. Picked up by Fitzpatrick. Finally into the neutral zone. Here comes Ward. Ward dishes it off. Didn't quite get a solid line on that pass. Deep in the Flames' end. Wrapped around the left-hand side. Battle forward at the blue line. Sent back into the Flames' end. It's going to be picked up by Kimball. Kimball up her right-hand side. Skips past Fitzpatrick. Icing waved off. Going the whole length of the ice. Fitzpatrick will set it up. Just approaching the halfway mark of the second period. 4-0 for the Moncton Rockets. Shots on goal are 18-7 in favor of Moncton, who also leads the series 1-0. Best of 5 series. Game 3 next Saturday from the Greenfoot Center in Moncton. And then the next game, if necessary, also next Sunday back here in Fredericton. Shot from the point. Rebound. That one's picked up. I believe it was Savoie, the beneficiary of that rebound, to tuck that one in. And the Rocket now up 5-0 here on the Flames. So 20-7, the shots on goal in favor of Moncton. And more importantly, 5-0 the score on the scoreboard. Most of these goals have been rebound goals tucked in. This is going to go for icing. And we'll have a face-off back in the Moncton end at the 9:03 mark here of the second period. Flames trailing 5-0 here in Game 2 of the New Brunswick final. Face-off to the left of Fournette. Won by Moncton. Cut to the net by Daniel. She went through several players there, got in. Now Waterhouse reverses it behind the net. Dished off to the point. Here's Boutelier. Boutelier goes across to Rogier. Broken up by Johnstone. Johnstone backhands up the ball. That one's recovered. Here's Boutelier. Boutelier by herself. Centers it. Knocked free. Loose in front. Now Poirier. Poirier's walking in. Poirier looking for a seam. Didn't quite find it. Daniel backhands it to the blue line. Here's McFadden. McFadden dishes it off. Long shot. Hits shin pads. It's loose. And Yeomans will cover up that one. 7:57 to go here in the second. Moncton up 5-0 in Game 2 of the New Brunswick final. Winner of this series will go on to the Atlantics. Which I believe are in PEI this year. Where the Wolves. Oh, here comes Doolin. Doolin tried to step around Poirier. She got tied up. That's going to be an interference call. So the Flames will have a power play at the 7:41 mark here in the second period. So yeah, elsewhere in the league, I believe the Down East Stars and the Western Wolves are having a series, but I believe because they are hosting, both teams will move on anyway, so a series that doesn't necessarily mean anything, at least that's my understanding of the world. And then in Nova Scotia, we have the Subway Selects who are up on the Cape Breton Lynx, who would upset the Lindsay Surge. Looking to see who's going to go. Oh, we have another arm up. Flames going to go to a two-player advantage here. And we got some brouhaha. delayed penalty was up against the Rockets. However, so I think I see a boarding call as the initial call. And then we're going to get a roughing against Dooland. So I think it's just a matter of the roughing, or if the boarding call was a 2 or a 4. Boarding call must have been a 2. And then the roughing against Dooland would be a 2, so nothing changes. It remains 5-on-4 for a minute 14 for the Flames. Face off one by the Flames, back to Daigle. Daigle comes cross ice to Feltmate. Feltmate, she's going to shoot through traffic, scores! Feltmate, straight through everybody, goes in. And the Flames are on the board. That's Feltmate's second of the year. With the first coming on senior night. The last regular season game of the year, I believe. Feltmate is a senior, of course. And we have another penalty coming. This time it is going to be Colpitz for a cross check. I think I saw the signal. And indeed it is. So the Flames back to the power play. 6:45 here in the second period. Shots on goal 23-9 in favor of Moncton. And the score 5-1. But the Flames back to the power play. We're en route to a 5-on-3 power play on the boarding call. Then Dooland evened things up with some little bit of a kerfuffle in front of the net. Folks got in tight, tried making the shot. That was going to be covered up by Fournette. 1:38 to go here on the Flames power play. 6:23 to go in the period. Shot by Daigle. That was waved no goal. Wow. That was a shot, and that was a lot of iron. Of course, no luxury here of going back and looking and slow motion and zooming in. So the call on the ice stands. So it was Feltmate from Daigle and Folks is the announcement on the goal. 48 to go here on the Flames power play. Waterhouse with it at the blue line. Waterhouse reverses for Boursier. Boursier just rolls off her stick, but is held in by Lawrence. 5:22 to go in the period. Lawrence shoots through traffic. Knocked off to the corner. Now 25 to go on the Flames power play. Here's Boursier. Boursier, she comes cross ice to Waterhouse. Waterhouse gives it back to Boursier. Boursier up the right-hand side to Lawrence. Lawrence tries pushing it ahead. Nelson's there. Can't quite keep pulling it forward. Johnstone knocks it over the line. Going to be picked up by Bourgeois, and we are back to even strength at 4-4-4 of the second period. Rockets up top, 5-1 on the Flames here. Puck held in the blue line by Folks. That's offside. Cook grabbed it. Polches was over the line. And the boxes have emptied. Everybody's headed back to the bench. And we are at even strength. And no more coincidentals to wipe off the clock. Kimball slaps it off to the side. That's moved ahead. Back below the goal line, Kimball. Kimball sends up the right-hand side. Skips past Cook. Held in. Below the goal line. Here's Kimball again. Kimball below the goal line sends up the right-hand side. Cook didn't get a handle on it, but it makes its way into the neutral zone. Just past Boutelier. That one's going to be offside again. As Cook picked it up, but Polches was over the line. So we'll have a neutral zone face-off here at 3:55 to go in the second period. A little bit of power play time for the Flames. Leveled up the shots a little bit. 24-11 in favor of Moncton now, who win this face-off. Cross ice pass to Cormier. She reverses it. Broken up by Feltmate. Just over the blue line. Feltmate on the boards. Gets it back into the neutral zone. Push ahead attempt. Johnstone gets it over the red line. She throws it down. It's going to be played by Fournette. Daigle gets in the neutral zone. Tries firing it down. Doesn't get very far. Arsenault. Cross ice to Cormier, and we have another cross check coming against the Rockets. And this time it'll be Rogier for the cross check. So 3:17 to go here in the second period. The Flames are going to go back to the power play. Rogier in the box for a cross check. Lee Folks in to take the draw. She's down low, battle for it in the feet. Rockets finally come out with it. And that's sent down the ice. Yeomans will play it behind the net. She's going to leave it there for Daigle. Daigle sends it up the right-hand side for Feltmate. Feltmate gets the red line. Doesn't get it deep enough, and that's going to come all the way back. 30 seconds gone already in the Flames power play, and Daigle will play below the goal line again. This time she comes up the left-hand side to Folks, who's picked off the puck by Poirier. Poirier, she's going to eat a little bit of clock here by herself. Poirier still wheeling with it. Finally dishes it down. Yeoman's out to play it again. We'll leave it for Daigle. Daigle going for the long pass this time, up to Cook. Cook's peeled off the puck by Boutelier. And now Alain has a pass. Cross ice. Yeomans is there. Strong offensive attempt there on the PK by the Rockets. 2:13 to go in the period. 56 to go in the Flames power play. 24-11, your shots on goal in favor of Moncton. Face-offs tied up. Pulled out by Boursier. Boursier bounces it off the boards for Nelson. That's not going to be icing because Nelson is well ahead. The beauty of the hybrid icing. Held on the blue line by Boursier. Boursier tries moving along the wall for Johnstone. Johnstone bobbles it, gives it to Lawrence. Lawrence takes a shot, hits shin pads. Back to Boursier. Boursier shot through traffic. Back on the stick of Waterhouse. Waterhouse to Boursier. Boursier looking for Johnstone. Presented her stick, but couldn't hit it. And that one's going the length of the ice. 13 to go in the Flames power play. Just under 90 seconds to go here in the second period. Rockets lead 5-1 on 24-11 shots. Up the left-hand side for Waterhouse. Waterhouse goes all the way across ice. That's knocked off by McFadden. McFadden gets it over the blue line. Bourcier's there, but McFadden pushes it forward. Rogier's with her. We're back to even strength now with 1:01 to go here in the second period in the New Brunswick final. Moncton leading 1-0 in the series, leading 5-1 in this game here today. Game 3, 5:30 p.m. next Saturday at the Greenfoot Center. Or if you're like me, you keep slipping up and calling it the Superior Propane Center, but now it's the Greenfoot Center in Moncton. Ice D. So not the big one. And then if needed, 12 o'clock, Sunday the 22nd, right back here at the Grant Harvey Center. 37.7 to go here in the second period. Rockets lead 5-1, face off to the right of Fournette, won by the Rockets. Here comes Cormier. Cormier behind the net, sends it up the left-hand side to Rogier. Rogier gets it in the neutral zone. One-on-one. It's knocked free. Daigle gets it in the neutral zone. Here's Nelson. Nelson looking for Dooland. 10 seconds to go here. Dooland can't quite keep a handle on it. Dishes it off. Waterhouse throws it towards the net. That's directed off to the corner. Lawrence now. She's pinned. And that's going to do it for the second period. Shots on goal after 2. 24-12. Moncton leads 5-1. Headed to the third period here at Game 2 between the Moncton Rockets and the Western Flames. I'll talk to you at the start of the third period. All right, folks, welcome back to here for the third period at the Grant Harvey Center in Fredericton, Game 2 of this New Brunswick final. Rockets up 5-1 here, heading into the third period. And we are at even strength to start the period. Shots on goal are 24-12 in favor of Moncton. Here comes McFadden through the neutral zone. That one's going to be offside. And we'll have a face-off just outside the Flames end. 30 seconds into the period here. Nelson will square off against Colpitts, won by Colpitts. Fitzpatrick pushes it ahead. Chip deep into the Flame zone. Back to the point for Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick shot. Hit a couple things along the way. He's down below the goal line. Battle for it back there. Knock free. Oh, we're going to have a Flames penalty here. That's going to be Nelson for boarding. Looked pretty incidental. However, the player was in a vulnerable position and Nelson hit her. So we will have Nelson for boarding at 19:03. And the Rockets are on the power play here for 2 minutes or less. Folks wins the faceoff back to Feltmate. Feltmate, she's tied up in the corner. Finally comes out with it with Colpitts. Colpitts. Back to Bourgeois. Bourgeois. She sends it cross ice. Boutelier now. Boutelier dishes it off. Down below the goal line there. I believe that's Alain. Shot attempt. Knocked off to the corner. Held in. Boutelier here at the blue line. Boutelier. Shot through traffic. Directed off to the left-hand side. Fitzpatrick recovers it. Fitzpatrick. Back to Boutelier. Boutelier. Back to Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick. Looked like she wanted to fire, but mishandled it. She's sent into the neutral zone by Polchis. Fitzpatrick all the way back. Sorry, that's not Fitzpatrick. That's McFadden. 1 minute gone in the Rocket power play. Picked off by Polchis, who tried to wrap it around. Frenette's there is going to cover that one up. .51 seconds to go on the Rocket power play here. 17:54 of the third period. Rockets through the neutral zone. Here's Ward. Ward along the board. She's peeled off. Picked up by Cormier. Cormier back to Daniel. Daniel, always dangerous. Dishes it off for Poirier. Shot attempt by the side of the net. Didn't get much of that one. It's going to send it back. Rockets still with control here. 15 to go on the power play. Cross ice pass. And that's another one on the power play for the Rockets. And it is 6-1 with 17:16 to go here in the third period. I didn't catch who was on that backside for the one-timer. Possibly Daniel. I'll wait for the call and check it out. Okay, so we got the call. So it was Daniel from Poirier and Bourgeois. Of course, that goal scorer down to the back door on the backside to me. Couldn't see the numbers, so now that I know who it was, not too surprised. Daniel's been involved in a lot of offensive plays here. Pretty dangerous player. Flames send that one down. Fournette out to play it. Leaves it for Boutelier. Boutelier dishes it off. Picked up by Arsenault. Arsenault looks up the right-hand side. Skips past Boutelier. Held in by Polchis and sent back down below the goal line. 16 to go here in the third period. 6-1 now. The score in favor of Moncton. 27-13. The shots on goal. Polchis sends it down below the goal line. That's picked up by Arsenault. Wrapped around the right-hand side. Held in by Feltmate. Spin and fire by Cook. Doesn't make its way to the net. Here's on that. Into the neutral zone. Feltmate sends that one back. Arsenault brings it in the neutral zone. Feltmate tries hitting Daigle. Misses her. Here's Dooland. Dooland backhands it into the neutral zone. Brought up by Lawrence. Lawrence throws it down. Played by Fournette. Now Savoie. Savoie, sharp angle. Sends it through the blue paint. Nobody can get a stick on that. Back to Cormier. And we're going to have ourselves a penalty call. We have a slash coming. I didn't see that one. And it will be Bourgeois for a slash. So at 14:41 here in the third period, Flames trailing 6-1. They'll have a little bit of power play time. It will be Folks in to take that face off. She wins it back to Feltmate. Feltmate to Daigle. Daigle shot through traffic. A little bit of a tip on it there possibly by Cook. But Fournette will hang on to that and we'll take that face off over again. 6 seconds gone in the Flames power play. And Folks will take that face off again. This time to the right of Fournette. Flames win it again. Daigle, she'll take the clapper this time. She misses wide. Puck sent the length of the ice. Daigle below the goal line. She's pressured by Ward. Skates past her. Daigle building up some steam. Tries chipping it in the corner for herself. She sends it in and recovers it. And she's taken down. No arm up on that. Back to Feltmate. Feltmate works along the wall for Cook. Cook backhands it towards the net. And Fournette will hang on to that one. 1:22 to go in the Flames power play. 14:03 to go in the third period. Rockets leading 6-1 here on 27 shots to the Flames 15. Game 3. Saturday down at the Greenfoot Center in Moncton. In Game 4 if necessary, back here at Grant Harvey next Sunday. Puck picked off at the blue line by Plout. She's finally pinned along the wall by Boursier. Lawrence there to help. 45 seconds to go in the Flames power play. Boursier puts the brakes on behind the net. Comes up the right-hand side. Sends it up to Lawrence. Lawrence dishes it off to Doolan. Doolan, she's tied up. Back on the stick of Waterhouse. Now Daigle. Daigle Daigle backhands it towards the net by herself. 20 seconds to go on the Flames power play. Puck sent the length of the ice. Flames need to reset. Cook's going to be there first. Cook sends it to the left-hand side for Folks. Folks trying to make her way wide. Takes a sharp angle shot. And that one will be stopped. There's a mere 1 second on the Flames power play, so defense need to be aware of the player stepping out of the box behind the defense. 12:42 to go here in the third period. Flames trailing 6-1. And we're back to even strength. Picked off from behind. Got to be aware of that player coming out of the box. And now we have a too many call. And the Rockets have been busted for too many players on the ice. And the Flames are right back on the power play here at 12:28. This time it'll be Nelson in to take the face off for the Flames. Couldn't quite see who it is for the Rockets. It was McFadden. Puck along the wall. Here's Lawrence. Lawrence battling for it. And Doolin walks out, takes a shot. She misses over the net. Boursier, deep pinch. Doolin tries pushing it forward. Here's McFadden. McFadden trying to push it in. Burn some time. She pinches off Waterhouse. 30 seconds gone in this Flames power play. Cross ice pass for Doolin. Doolin backs it up. Boursier has to reverse. Boursier backhands up the middle for Lawrence. Sends it to her left to Doolin. Doolin can't handle it. Daniel single-handedly getting through a few. Daniel still with it. She's taken down. No arm up. Feltmate behind the net. Cuts back twice. Pressured hard by Ward. Now Lawrence. Lawrence gains the blue line. Tries to shoot and fire. She heads to the bench. 30 seconds to go in the Flames power play. Feltmate tried to grab that one. Couldn't quite keep it in. And there is 10:54 to go here in the third period. 26 seconds to go in the Flames power play. Shots on goal are 27-16 in favor of Moncton. And we will have a face-off just outside the Flames end. They win that draw. Puck through the neutral zone. Here's Daigle. Daigle gains the blue line by herself. Daigle backhands it softly towards the net. Picked up by Boutelier. Boutelier sends it to the corner. Now Feltmate now tries a sharp angle shot. Moves it out front. Now Folks. Folks a sharp angle shot. Bouncing in front. Spin. Fire. That one goes over the net by Cook. Wrapped around the wall. It's going to be held in by Feltmate. Feltmate tried to get that one deep. Folks is there. Now Feltmate throws it towards the net. Back to Feltmate again. Feltmate goes cross ice to Boursier. Boursier didn't get much of that one. Got into the zone, but we are back to even strength. Halfway to go here in the third period. Flames trailing by 5. Puck in the neutral zone. Here's Sommers. Sommers, one-on-one. Tries moving it towards the net. Ends up softly along the side of Fournette, who will cover it up. Face off in the Rocket end. Shots on goal 27-19. It will be Nelson facing off against Colpitts. Kind of ends up off on the side. Flames have it. Shot by Gauvin. Doesn't make its way through everybody. Loose in front here. Nelson tried to get a piece of it. Couldn't. Gauvin takes a stab at it. Gets past her. Gauvin again. Spins. Fires. Hits the linesperson. Held in. Sharp angle shot again. And Fournette will hang on to that one. And we are at the 9:20 mark of the third period. Another face-off to the right of Fournette. B. McFadden against Nelson. McFadden wins that one clean. Wrapped around the left-hand side. Pinched by Kimball. Can't quite keep it in. Nelson picks it up in the neutral zone. Pushes it ahead. Into the rocket end. Fitzpatrick with it. Up her left-hand side. Into the neutral zone. That one's picked up by McFadden. McFadden shot. Blocker to the corner by Yeomans. Gauvin tries pushing it up the wall. She's pinned. Now Nelson. Nelson and McFadden and Gauvin battling in the corner there. Smith is there too. McFadden keeps coming out with it. Shot out front by Rogier. Yeomans will hang on to that one, and we are at 8:34 of the third period. And we'll have a face-off in the Flames' end. Face-off won by the Rockets. Puck along the wall. Makes its way in the neutral zone. Cormier with it. Pushed back into the Rocket end. Here's Cormier again. Cormier, she reverses. Comes up her right-hand side. Back into the middle. It's Cormier still with it. Sends it up the left side looking for Ward. Gets past her. It's going to be picked up by Feltmate. Cormier sends it into the Flames end. Here's Daigle. Daigle coming out with some speed. Daigle by herself in tight. Misses the corner. Arm up. And we have a slash. Here's Cormier. So, 7:47. Flames will go to the power play for the third time this period on the Cormier slash. Face-off to the right of Fournette. It's tied up. Puck under the pile there somewhere. Someone fish it out. Finally brought out by Boutelier. She'll send it the length of the ice. Bourcier's going to be the first one back. She's pressured by Alain. Still with it. Comes cross ice to Lawrence, just out of her reach. Now Arsenault goes cross ice. Tries to send it down. Waterhouse now. Waterhouse to Bourcier. Bourcier up through the middle for Doolan. Doolan gets past her, and that's going to be an icing call against the Flames. 1:25 to go on the Flames power play here. 7:12 to go in the third period. Flames trailing 6-1. 29-20. Shots on goal in favor of Moncton. Defensive zone face-off here on the power play for the Flames. Puck loose in front. Here's Poirier. Poirier just eating some time. Finally knocked off the puck. In the neutral zone. This time it'll be Richard. Richard, she's taken down. That's going to be a trip on Waterhouse. And 1 minute into the Flames power play, we are going to go back to even strength. For a minute and 2. And then we'll have 58 seconds of power play for Moncton. Roger in for the face-off. Won by the Flames. Gets into the neutral zone. We're 4-on-4 here for just under a minute. Here's Polchi's. Polchi's sharp angle shot. That misses. Feldmate breaks that one up in the neutral zone. Here comes Boutelier. Now Polchi's. Polchi's chips up the wall. Arsenault's going to be back to pick that one up. Arsenault through the neutral zone. Arsenault still with it. Arsenault continues to carry it. Dishes it off. Shot attempt. That's not that high. Puck scrambled in front. Shot attempt. That misses high. We're 2 seconds away from the Rocket going on the power play. Puck in the neutral zone. Here's Bourgeois. Bourgeois goes cross ice. Rocket now on the power play for 50 seconds. Here's McFadden. McFadden cuts into the middle. She sends it back to the point. Poirier. Back to McFadden. McFadden loads up. Didn't get it. Here's Fitzpatrick. Takes a shot. Hits shin pads. Ends up in the corner. 28 to go on the Rocket power play. Fitzpatrick. She sends it cross ice. That was dished off. Here's No, that was McFadden. Hits the post. 8 seconds to go in the Rocket power play. McFadden blows a wheel. Goes down. And we're back to even strength. Waterhouse steps onto the ice. Makes her way to the bench. Doolin comes on in her place. 4:40 to go here in the third period. Scramble in front. And Yeomans will hang on to that one. 32-20. The shot's on goal in favor of Moncton. Score, of course, 6-1. 4:37 to go here in the third period. Puck through the neutral zone. That's picked up by Arsenault. Arsenault sends up the left-hand side. That's broken up by Lawrence. Lawrence tries moving it towards the net. Doesn't get there. Now Daniel. Daniel through the neutral zone. Still with it. Daniel pushed off to the side by Daigle. Puck still down deep there. And Yeomans covers that one up. And we've got 4 minutes to go here in the third period. 6-1 for the Rockets on 32 shots to 20. That one chipped into the zone by Doolin. She'll head to the bench for a change. For the last few minutes here, we'll go through some formalities. Here's Somers. Somers chips it into the neutral zone. So if the Flames are able to steal one next weekend in Moncton, you'll hear from me again next Sunday here from the Grant Harvey Center. If not, that will probably be the last you hear from me from Daryl High Button for this season. Certainly been fun being part of the High Button team. I'd certainly like to call one more game this year, or a few more, but the season's wrapping up for many leagues and many teams. And hopefully, if nothing else, you'll hear from me again next year from High Button for the Flames. Here's Folks. Folks makes her way through the slot, tried a shot attempt, got blocked off to the corner. Less than 2 to go. 6-1 for Moncton. 32-20, the shots on goal. Moncton will move into a 2-0 series lead with Game 3 back in Moncton next Saturday at the Greenfoot Center. Here's McFadden. She's along the wall. Sends it back. Shot through traffic. Didn't make its way through. That was the shot by Arsenault. Into the neutral zone. Here's McFadden. Puck sent down below the goal line. Daigle's there. Daigle puts the brakes on. She's pressured by Savoie. That one's softly sent to the corner. Under a minute to go here now. Rockets take a shot. Blockered off to the corner by Yeomans. Cormier keeps it in. 33-20. The shot's on goal now. Shot through traffic again. Yeomans sends that one off to the corner. 30 seconds to go here now. 6-1 is the score. Here's Polchis. Chips it up the wall in the neutral zone. That one's going to go, that should go for icing. And with 12.5 to go, we'll have an icing call against Moncton and a face-off back to the left of Fournette. And so the Rockets will go ahead 2-0 in this series. 34-20, the shots on goal. That's likely close to our final here with 8 seconds to go. Puck into the neutral zone, and that's the buzzer. And that is your final score, 6-1 in favor of Moncton. Final shots on goal, 34-20. Also in favor of Moncton. And you can watch Game 3 here on High Button Sports next Saturday from the Greenfoot Center in Moncton. And if Game 4 needs to happen, you'll see us here at the Grant Harvey Center with me. If not, that's a wrap on my season. Thanks for joining us for the Flames this year. Always a pleasure, and we'll talk to you later.